Respected brothers, sisters, scholars, academics, first of all, I be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this very special day, Yawm al-Jumu'ah, Friday. We are grateful to our Creator for bringing us to His house on a special day, Yawm al-Jumu'ah, Alhamdulillah. We send incredible amount of salam and salutations to the greatest messenger Muhammad, salawatu rabbi wa salamuhu alayhi, and we bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah. He is one and He has no partners. And we bear witness that the noble messenger Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the final prophet and slave of Allah the Almighty. Brothers and sisters, who those who may be listening through Mixler, we are here discussing a very important subject, and that is the violence and abuse. And when we look at the Quranic term, we find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He repeatedly mentioned in the noble Quran and confirmed that He does not like something called dhulm. Dhulm. And dhulm is, of course, some will translate as oppression. Dhulm, oppression. وضع الشيء في غير موضعه, according to the Arabic language, the scholars of Arabic language. Putting things in where it's not supposed to be, or doing things which is not supposed to be. This is the definition of oppression, dhulm. But we see on this planet there are incredible amount of violence and abuse. We may not know, but if you look at the news, some, of course, our information are exposed. Where there are so much information are not exposed and are not mentioned. We don't know. But behind the doors, there are lots of oppression, dhulm, and abuse and violence are taking place on this planet. There are oppression, abuse against women, oppression and abuse and violence against children. Sometimes we think just because they're children, we can treat them the way we want to. But we forget the fact that the children are also, children will also complain, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. In fact, they should be given the maximum care, of course, with the discipline, after giving the correct discipline and tarbiyah, but they should be given the maximum care and love. Violence against and abuse against women, abuse against and violence against men sometimes. Sometimes we think that men are not abused. Today, in today's context, there are many men also abused. And even there are victims of violence at homes. Maybe they're not, of course, covered in media or in news, or maybe people don't share those information. And of course, the employees are also in a lot of time abused. May not be here, but of course there are. But if you look at some parts of the world, employees are really oppressed. They have no rights. They don't get their due, and they are treated very unjustly and very badly in many parts of the world. And we see this dhulm happens everywhere. And Islam came, religion of Allah, the revelation, al-wahi, came to stop and prevent this all sort of oppression from the rulers. Many people, publics, civilians are oppressed under many rulers in this world. And they forget that one day they will be held accountable in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of them may get away in this world, but they forget that there is another court, there's another mahkamah, the mahkamah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where they will be questioned for every single deed and action they did in this world. So if Allah gave you some sort of power, authority, money, you may be rich, wealthy. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you position, wherever position you may be in, every one of us has some positions in this world. Position as a father, position as a mother, position as a teacher, position as a, for example, director, position as a mayor or councillor or an MP or minister or even a prime minister or president. You may have different types of position in this world. Mas'ul, you have got responsibility, positions. But if Allah gave you those blessings and favors and positions, then you have to be very careful, because your accountability will be much more than anybody else. Because Allah will question you for your deeds in this world, undoubtedly. So, Islam came to make sure the people are safe. Not only just people. I'm not talking about just Muslims. I'm saying insan and nas, people in general, should be safe from our tongues and from our hands. As Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. Muslims are the ones from whose hands and tongues other people are safe. But not only just Muslim, I'm talking about people in general. I'm talking about the creation of Allah. I'm talking about the things that live on this planet. Even the nature. Everything deserves, everything has right to live in this world in peace and harmony. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Ar-Rahman, وَالْأَرْضَ وَضَعَهَا لِلْأَنَامِ. He made and He created the earth suitable and comfortable for the creation. Not only just human beings, but each and every single creation. According to some narration, 124,000 makhluqat, 124 different types of creation Allah made. And they all have rights to live in peace and harmony. So long they're not coming to harm you. Of course, if they come to harm you and hurt you, at that point you have right to defend. But otherwise, even the nature has a right. So this is the reason why unnecessary cutting of trees and leaves and flowers are also disliked, in fact prohibited in Islam. So we are here as Muslims, we are the protectors, we are the safeguards, we are the guards of the world. That we should make sure everything is around us safe and in peace and harmony. So let alone committing violence, abuse and oppression. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the noble Quran, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. If Allah gave you the ability to speak, don't abuse your ability of speaking by swearing, by being bullied, by taking someone down. Don't use the ability. Allah gave you the ability to speak. Some people can't even speak. So if Allah gave me and you the ability to speak, we must say good things. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speak and say good things to people. মানুষের ভালো কথা কও, সুন্দর সুন্দর কথা কও। আল্লাহ মাতবার যোগ্যতা দিছেন, গালাগালি করিও না, খমিন্দি করিও না, মানুষের উপরে জুলুম নির্যাতন করিও না। Don't do all this, but say the good things. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. If Allah gave you the ability of speaking, but how many of us we are using, we can't even speak unless there's an F word, there's an F word. Everything has F. Some people can't even speak without this. It's become so normal. It becomes so normal. Because they use so much that there's no in a conversation without swearing. But Prophet ﷺ said, what did he say? Our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنَ لَيْسَ بِاللَّعَانِ. Surely a believer doesn't insult others. In all circumstances, you may protest, you may express your feelings, you may say things, but insulting, Allah forbid, must not take place in any circumstance. Because Prophet Muhammad, our prophets and Sahaba, companions, they didn't practice in this way. So he does not curse others. وَلَا الطَّعَانِ. He does not curse. Some of us, constantly cursing. Allah Ta'ala kuagi. Cursing like, may Allah take you. Some people say in Bengali language. Some people say, may Allah take you away. In Arabic, Allah yakhrib baytak. I'm sure you've heard of that. May Allah destroy you. And one scholar said, like, if you were making constantly dua, this is so common, this sentence especially in Egypt and in Palestine and other places. People say, Allah yakhrib baytak. If anything goes wrong, may Allah destroy your house. So one scholar said, like, if you are saying so much, Allah yakhrib baytak all the time, then when Allah will build your houses, it's already destroyed anyway. In many parts, there's war, there's conflict, there's battles happening. So when Allah will, if you're making dua to be destroyed, then Allah will not build them. So Muslims don't also curse all the time, continuously. There is no need for that, because it doesn't make any much change. So he does not curse. وَلَا الْفَاحِشِ, he does not swear at others. And وَلَا الْبَذِيء, and he does not say bad things like foul language. Like some people are so used to saying foul and bad language. This is not the character of Muslims. And this is the reason why Islam always makes us good people, civilized people. সভ্য করে ইসলাম ধর্ম আমরা রে। সভ্যতা যদি নাই তাহলে ইসলাম আমরা কি জাত মুসলমান? ইসলাম ধর্মের উদ্দেশ্য হলো একটা সভ্য জাতি, সভ্য মানুষ আমাদেরকে বানানি। So we be civilized by these beautiful teachings of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then وَلَعْنُ الْمُؤْمِنِ كَقَتْلِهِ وَمَنْ رَمَى مُؤْمِنًا بِكُفْرٍ فَهُوَ كَقَتْلِهِ. And then Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying in another hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, cursing a believer is like killing him. Cursing a believer is like killing him. And then he said, and claiming a believer with kufr is like killing him. You see, there's another abuse in our society. And this abuse is like, calling people mushrik and kafir all the time. Oh, you go kafir, you go mushrik, you go ta. Yes, there are people like that. But you forget, the Prophet ﷺ also, he warned. He said, look, calling someone a kafir is like killing him. Because why? You're sending him to Jahannam directly. Who are you to decide all, fully here? There are some things clear to us, I know. But there are certain things it's not clear to us. And so therefore we be careful, because Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith, if you call someone kafir and he is not the kafir, then you will be kafir. One of you will be kafir. If someone is kafir, mushrik khulchun. So the hibichara mushrik kafir na tafnu mushrik. Serious warning. So be careful. Of course, these are very dangerous, sins. But at the same time, labeling someone so quickly and rushing into it also dangerous. Also very dangerous. So we have to be very careful and control our tongue. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you physical strength, then don't use it in fighting people, like attacking people. Just some people are, mashallah, Allah gave them so much strength. The good people, even though they have strength, they have, mashallah, they're very powerful, they have muscle men. They have things, but they don't abuse them. They use them in the right things, in correct time. We need this, of course. These things are much needed, but to use in the right place and not in the wrong place. So if Allah gave you the strength, physical strength, don't abuse, because Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, إِذَا الْتَقَى الْمُسْلِمَانِ بِسَيْفِهِمَا فَالْقَاتِلُ وَالْمَقْتُولُ فِي النَّارِ. If two people come together, Muslims, and they both have swords, like weapons, to fight each other, then Prophet ﷺ said, the killer and the one who is killed, both in Jahannam, both in the fire of hell. Killer and the one who is killed, because both had weapons. So Prophet ﷺ, Sahaba radiallahu anhu asked, the companions asked, so the killer we understand. How about the one who's killed? Because Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّهُ كَانَ حَرِيصًا عَلَى قَتْلِ أَخِيهِ. Because he was also intending to kill the other person. Otherwise he wouldn't have also a weapon. So the both would be in the fire of hell. Again, violence and abuse. If Allah gave you power, physical strength, then don't abuse it. But use it in the right place whenever it's needed. Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisani, I've mentioned earlier. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the power, as I mentioned, any power of position, as a boss, as a director, as a chairman, as an MP, as a minister, as a husband, as a wife, every one of us have some positions. As a teacher, don't abuse your power, your position. Because Allah said in the Noble Quran, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. And never think that Allah is unaware of what the zalims do, what the abusers do. Don't think Allah is unaware. The CCTV may not be here, but Allah's CCTV is there. And that's the reason why Muslims are good people from inside, inwardly. Because they know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. The most important CCTV for them is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the reason why you go to Hajj. You see the biggest gathering, but security forces are not as many in Hajj. Millions of people. How many security guards there? Because everyone knows the limits. Everyone knows Allah is watching, CCTV is there. They don't even need police. Yes, police of course are needed. I'm not saying denying the importance, but Muslims originally don't need, because they're good. They know their boundaries and limits. They don't cross. So if Allah gave you those positions of power, or in whatever shape and form, don't abuse them. Some teachers abuse children. We hear, of course, comes in the news. Many things are not shared. Many teachers do that, and sometimes police are doing. We saw recently in the news, he's a police officer. He abused many women, and then you find even doctors sometimes they do it. Doctors. So we be also very careful. I'm not saying to not trust people. We should trust people, but at the same time, we be careful as well. We just send our women, our daughters without any, everything will be fine. Yeah, things will be fine, inshallah. But also, you do your bit as well. Remain a bit vigilant. Sometimes we send our girls, our daughters, to teach private tuition. And many, many times in private tuition, things happen. We hear in Bangladesh, we hear in other places. A lot of teachers abuse the daughters, but sometimes they can't speak. They can't come and say, because it's embarrassing. Because then some parents are also very difficult. They'll say, yeah, you are, because you've done it as well. You are blamed. So they fear what may happen, the reaction. So this is the reason why we as parents also remain careful and vigilant. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us these positions, we must be very careful, because Allah will not let us go and let you go for the dhulm and oppression you do. Generally speaking, of course, all of us are ameen in this world. Ameen means trusted. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us amana. Ameen like trusted. Allah pak rabbul alamin amrare amanat disen onek zin shagol. Zotata amra dunya me zamra faisi gula amanat. Everything is trust. To us, money is trust, amana. If Allah gave you money, like this is an amana to you. It's not, actually it doesn't belong to you. Sometimes I hear, when I was in Egypt, they used to say, al-malu malullah. Like when the beggars come. They say, when the beggars come, they want money from people. They say, al-malu malullah. Mal is mal of Allah. Egypt da sura shon fakir khla tara ya khoita kita. Ze mal afnar fasha Allah fasha. Big korbar age. Tokhan manushe mone hasat to Allah fasha. Ta amra kichu dei. So if you look at that sentence, actually it does have a reality. Al-malu malullah, because you're here only holding it for a bit. Next thing, as soon as you leave the world, it goes inheritance straight to other people. Some women, I remember one woman, she became a billionaire within 2 weeks' time because she got married to an American billionaire, and the billionaire died after a while, 2 or 3 within a month, and she became billionaire. This is reality. So if anything Allah gives you, it's an amana to you. Children are amana. Our women are amana. Even the people work for you, amana. Look after them, take care of them. Whoever you may be dealing with in this world. Because this amana, Allah will ask you. And Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, إِذَا ضُيِّعَتِ الْأَمَانَةِ فَانْتَظِرِ السَّاعَةِ. If amana is lost, then wait for Yawm al-Qiyamah. If amana has been lost, the trust is lost, then the wait for Day of Judgment. Allah Rabbul Alamin, Rasul Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the amana is aginani, te qiyamatul layum. Because this is how soon the Qiyamah will take place. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and everyone the ability, inshallah. First of all, me, I know it's a difficult task, but all of us should work together, make, of course, awareness, create awareness, and let's start from myself. Sometimes we just think it's the other person. Always, constantly we're thinking, if a khatib, if a scholar, if a preacher is speaking, then we think it's just the other person. No, let's think about myself first. Is there anything is there any issues I have? Let me deal with this. And so if we start, inshallah, from ourselves, then things will be better. This is the reason why Jalaluddin Rumi, a famous Persian poet, he said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. And today I'm wise, so I want to change myself. He said, yesterday I was clever, so I want to change the world. And today I'm wise, so I want to change my own self. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to practice upon what has been said.